We Are Strangers, what they think about Jesus dying on the cross for them.
And today we're going to react to it.
That's crazy. Like, they really stabbed him.
And I don't really agree with that, so to speak.
Interesting.
I ask him what the lottery will be tomorrow.
I would ask, are there animals up there?
Yeah,
I would pray to God that my cat is in heaven.
Oh, I think it's quite insane, to be honest. Like, it happened so long ago. Why would he die for my sins now?
Christians believe that Jesus died on the cross and wiped away our sins. How does that make you feel?
And I don't really agree with that, so to speak. Yeah, I didn't ask for that.
Oh, I think it's quite insane, to be honest. Like, it happened so long ago. Why would he die for my sins now?
I don't really have an opinion. I mean, if it did happen, if it didn't happen, it happened so long ago.
Wow.
I mean, thank you.
Or maybe
Yeah,
I will
right.
die and just tell everybody I died for everybody's sins. What do you reckon about that? That's fun.
It's true. I think what he was saying, as in how he sees it, is the context behind it of like the evidence base. People looking for evidence
Yeah.
of.
They want to know the answers.
Yeah, it's like Jesus could have just been this random guy, but like we again time and time see evidence and things like that from this world and in the Bible of this actually did happen. It wasn't just it was a historical moment, but actually brings back to today and age. And it's so relatable.
Equally as relevant as it was back then to nowadays.
That's crazy. Like, they really stabbed him, spear in his heart, right? And then he literally rose up 3 days later. So 3 days later, like, that's crazy to me. Like, God's powerful.
If it did really happen, thank you. Yeah, that's all for me.
Yeah, it's hard to know because you don't believe it, and you just like, oh, did it really happen? Don't know. If it happened, well, that's nice, I guess.
Like she said, it happened so long ago that there's really no proof of it. Only proof, the Bible, of course, and that's like not really a solid proof that I would go along with. But if it did happen, like she said, thank you. It was great, I guess. look at us now, you know. The world's fine.
What was so interesting about those two, that guy and that girl there, was afterwards, once, you know, we've wrapped up filming there, I wanted to have a conversation with her. But again, I shied her. I'm like, oh, they may think, but I'm like, oh, they were open. You could have had that conversation. Because on the point that he made of, you know, oh, you know, there's just the Bible, there's not enough evidence of that. I was like, no, there's so many manuscripts that testify, you know, to Jesus. It's so well documented of Jesus pre his resurrection, and then also post that there's evidence for, you know, both of it there. So it was like, oh, flip.
And for those that are looking, there is a lot more.
100%.
The Bible is just one of them, but there is so much, I think, if you're searching for it.
And that's where I was like, oh, Matthew, you missed the opportunity, you know, to like have that moment there and discuss and talk. Because they were open to it, you know. So it was, again, missed opportunities. Wish I had taken it. Sorry, Jesus.
Like when that's said, it's almost like I've got some debt, unwanted debt that I didn't know about, you know? It's like you owe someone money that you didn't know. It's kind of thing.
And you had someone pay for it for you, brother. That's crazy what he was talking about there of like knowing that you have a debt that you didn't even know was your debt in the first place. You know, I just imagine getting a bill in the mail and you're like, oh, flip, I owe how much? Essentially like my entire life's worth, you know? That would be uncomfortable. And I think it's the understanding of the weight of sin and all that, you know, in our world. And I think it's, you know, there's an onus of us as, you know, Christians to have those conversations about sin, not from a thou has sinned, you know, condemning one, but from that, hey, flip, like, you don't realize like there's weight. All of us has fallen short. Myself, you, every single human being. No one is perfect. And the weight of it, the cost of it was Jesus sending his son. But hey, someone's paid for that debt. That debt is covered. It is done. You don't owe anything, you know, once then accepting him. So it's a heavy one. And I can understand that reaction.
Totally. And I think that's why it makes it important to have those conversations and not to like push back from it, but to lean into it and explain if people don't understand or absolutely, because that's a massive thing.
And I even think when having those conversations, because it can feel like, oh, this is a confronting, hefty conversation, of fumbling around with the person in the sense of like, you know, you don't have to have the perfect word or the perfect speech, but, you know, realizing, hey, oh, flip, I made a mistake. Sorry, I didn't mean it in that way. And like, just being honest and authentic in it there, and working there to show that you don't have it all together, I think is also great, and it lowers people's guards.
Yes.
If you could ask Jesus any question, what would it be?
Oh, what's your recipe for the wine?
Maybe why, as to why we were created, maybe. Like what our purpose in life is.
I ask him what the lottery will be tomorrow.
That's a good one.
End goal. What's your plan? What's your goal? Like,
That's
why
true.
all this?
Interesting.
Why make all this? Are you just bored? Or like, what's the big plan,
That's an interesting question.
You say you have plans for everyone, but what's your plan?
Sometimes you wonder how you end up.
Isn't it interesting? A non-Christian was to ask that. Like, what is your plan, God?
Yeah.
Like sometimes we
Why?
as Christians, sometimes we'll ask that from God, but we can put our own plans in and be like, is this your plan, God?
Yeah. But just having that outside of you thinking of like, oh, God, why all of this? Why did you even need to, which again, when you read the Bible, and you understand why, but they're just, that's an interesting one.
So
I like
cool.
that.
In 5 or 10 years, maybe something like that.
So I just walk up to him and be like, how'd I do?
How to make the world to a peacefuler place. That would be great.
Yeah.
If we have an answer to that.
Maybe just how am I doing or how are we doing? It's like it'd be good to get like a concrete answer to what we're doing. You can do what you think is right, but at the end of the day, like there's always that little bit of, there's always going to be like that. You never know 100% what you're doing is the right thing.
Would you ask him anything about afterlife?
Yeah, sometimes I wonder what happens afterwards. But then on the other hand, I think like Nordic religions, they don't believe anything happens afterwards. And they say, do you remember anything before birth? And that's exactly how it will be when you die anyways.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
Do you remember anything before birth?
That's the same way. And that was Nordic Christians. Is that what he said?
No, Nordic religion.
Religions, sorry. Yes.
That's interesting. Wow.
Whereas as a Christian, we believe that after life, you go to either heaven or hell.
Yeah.
Whereas some people don't even believe there's nothing at all. So what's the purpose on this earth?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah, fair motivator.
Fair.
Yeah, I'd probably be more interested in hell, like the actual definition of hell. Like I'd be really interested in seeing, because like you can read different passages in the Bible, etc., and you can hear a lot of different people have different ideas and definitions of hell. So to actually understand that'd be really cool.
Or maybe
So it doesn't matter?
You are a part of nature again. I like to think about like it's a circle of life, and you go back to
I would come back as a horse.
and back to nature.
Oh yeah, like a tree graveyard where you I don't know, fuel for the tree, and the tree keeps going, and then the birds live in the tree, and you're part of the circle.
Or all of our pets that we would all know up there, because coming from a farm, see a lot of pets come and go, and they're all nice, and you kind of think, oh, we'll see an afterlife type thing. Like, I would ask, are there animals up there?
I used to ask that all the time, I'm not gonna lie. I had cats.
Cat and dog heaven.
I would pray to God that my cat is in heaven. That is so funny. She said that to me.
Well, it's a cat,
I
so
laughed.
it's in hell, so sorry.
Oh,